So that's Trimond, and then there's shading and things with that. I'm going to have a play with that today, and I'm going to actually do some a little bit different, just to show you, as always, like to show you that we've done this one before, but there's other things that we can do with this as well. So that's one of them, the Trimond one, that I'd like to kind of revisit because it's quite geometrical for sure. And then we did Flukes last week, and I tried doing Flukes in a very regimented way. So the ones that we did last week, were more on when we did our grid, we kind of did a kind of curved grid round. We sort of came around, and then we put our flukes into a curved grid. And I've done some that is just on a more square grid, and I kind of preferred the ones that we did, I think. And I'm just looking to see if I've got my last week's tile to hand. I'm sure I have. I just have probably buried it. But I just kind of thought that I preferred the ones that we did. Can't find them now, of course. Oh, there it is. Just to show you for a difference, kind of to line it up. But you might prefer to do them in a very much more regimented way. So that's just saying that there's no reason why you can't do a straight grid whenever you do your flukes. So whereas we did them in this kind of wavy grid, and we kind of we came out from this side, didn't we? And then we went up. I'm going to have to change my pen because this is quite a inky pen. This might be good for when I need to do colouring in and shading, but it's quite juicy. And then we did the little thing like that. Well, on a grid, if you wanted to, you could do exactly the same, but just on a square grid like this, and just make it a lot more regimented. So I think on that one, I actually have come out of it. I've obviously done them a different way around, because you can go that way. So you don't have to, you can do them like upside down, and then just keep going, and then do your coloured in one. So on a grid, they just look a lot more regimented, I felt. But I'm just sort of saying this to you because when I'm saying later we need to draw a grid, please feel free to have a straight grid if that's what you would prefer. So if I say do a bendy grid, don't feel that that's what you have to do. You could do a straight grid if you wanted to have a try at doing it in a different way. So just giving you choices, basically. So we will have a go at doing the flukes again. And just to show you, here's throwing it completely outside the box. I started this one last night, and I kind of did really, really big flux petals, so big, massive fluxes. And then I started filling in the flux petals with different patterns. So that's just showing you that, because I didn't want to be doing a square grid, I was like, oh, I don't want to do square. I was just experimenting. So just think that it doesn't have to be, you could actually do one of our tangles and then tangle within the tangle, really. That's what that's done. So they're very, very big flux, as I say, and I've just tangled inside them. We're going to have a go at this one, Beeline, which I keep calling Beeline, which we've done before, but Beeline, which I really, really like. And I've got one kind of done here to show you. So it's doing triangles. So again, it's a straight grid, and this one does, I think, have to be a straight grid because it's kind of getting a geometric pattern. So we're doing a straight grid like this, and you only do one grid line. We're not doing squares. We're just doing lines. And then on one of them, you will do the triangle going that way, and then it closes, and then it opens, and then it closes like that. And then in the opposite one, we're going to do a V that is open, and then a V that is closed. And then, so it's just going the opposite way, basically. So if I done that right, Yeah, haven't I? Just thinking I've done that. Yeah, so it's kind of the opposite, and you can see already that you get this kind of illusion of a cube. So when you actually start to shade, you'll see that you are getting, depending on where you shade. But say I started by shading this top one, and then when and then I'll shade that next one like that. So then you kind of start, it pulls the eye into a pattern. So more, it's starting to kind of jump out now. And again, then I would shade on this side like that. And then on that side, obviously as you continue to draw. But you get this kind of optical illusion coming out. So if I show you on my one here that's finished, you're colouring in the triangles as well. You're really getting a 3D. Look at that. That's really popping out at you. So we're going to have a go at this one today as well. So that's probably more than enough to be getting on with at the minute, she says. But we'll see how we go and what we can fill in with and all those sorts of things when we get started. We'll just see. But I just wanted to show you that to just give you ideas of when you're doing, you know, your starting points, that you can just go to somewhere other than lines. It was what I was talking about last week with your strings. I want you to make sure that your feet are firmly on the floor if you can. And we're going to start by taking a deep breath in and then just letting it out. Just releasing that breath. And as you release that breath, just let your shoulders drop. And then just feel yourself just really relaxing into the seat. And if you've got your legs crossed, if you could just uncross them, and then, as I say, try and get your feet as flat as you can onto the floor. And we're going to take another deep breath in. And then we're just going to let it go. And just one more for me. We just breathe in and out. Okay. And I'm going to start by putting the 4 dots, one on each corner. And then I'm going to join those up with a pencil line. And as we take this pencil onto the pad, I'm going to just take a breath in and out. And breathe in. And let it go as we just draw this line. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line, like a wider aura of my box. So I'm going to do a line like that. Turn that around, and I'm going to do a line like that. Okay. And then like that. Okay, so I've kind of done a little box in. So I'm going to take my pen now, and I'm going to start with my Trimond. So I'm going to do little zigzags. In that box like that. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm just going to repeat that. Okay, and this is going to create my border. Okay, and then I'm going to start by just putting a little dot in the first triangle, and I'm going to pull down from the top corners to meet that dot, and then do a line down. Okay, so in the next downward pointing triangle, I'm going to do the same, put a dot, and then do my lines, and I'm just going to work along doing that on each of these triangles. And if you could just really concentrate on the mark that you're making just at this moment in time, that's all that you need to think about. Okay, and then I'm going to just turn my tile so that it's comfortable for me to just carry on working my way around, popping these little lines into my triangles. And if you've got half a triangle like I have on this one, I'll still have my little dot. I'll still draw it down just so that it's finished. Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start by shading. So just look, I'm actually going to turn my tile so that I've got it in this direction. I'm going to work along this one. Okay, so on my larger triangle, I'm actually going to do some little lines. So let me just do this one and then I'll show you. Okay, so I'm just shading this larger triangle here, and then on the left hand side I'm going to completely shade in the small triangle. Okay, so this is just showing you a little bit of a difference from what we've done with this one before. And I'm going to just carry that pattern through, so I'm just going to do some little lines. Oops. On the top of the triangle. Okay, and then I'm going to colour in that left hand side. And I'm just going to carry that pattern along on this side. And you can already see how that's given it definition, and it's making it look like a sort of an optical illusion again, where you're seeing it in 3D, just by colouring that little triangle in at the side. I suppose that actually should have the shading in it as well, that bit, because that's the top of the next triangle. Okay, and this one over here would be coloured in just on that very edge. Okay, and then I'm going to flip that round so that I've got the opposite one, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So I shall start by one of the lines on this little bit here, actually. And if you could let your lines actually go up to where the border string is. I think I didn't actually do that properly on the last one, but I think I'll do it now that I've had a go. I'm going to just bring it up to meet that string. And just remember that when we're concentrating, kind of can forget how we're breathing. So we really need to just concentrate on breathing normally, and just remember to drop those shoulders so that they're not holding any tension. Okay. And we're just concentrating on that mark that you're making right now. Okay. And on the other ones, I'm going to just do shading on those ones, but we still need to do our colouring in. So on these ones, I'm actually going to colour in with the triangle. So with my tile in this orientation here, I'm actually going to colour in this triangle here. So a little bit different. I'm going to go on that side and colour in on the right hand side. So just go along. Okay, and then I'll just flip that around and do exactly the same on this one. So I'm just going to colour in on the right hand side. Just do that, maybe that will help you see what I'm doing. Okay. So we've just done a little bit of a variation with that. So for now, I'm just going to put a pencil line across on my tile, like so. And on this side, I'm going to just mark a halfway mark, like that. And on this portion here, I'm just going to do some lines. Like that. Okay. We're going to do this Beeline style pattern now that I was showing you earlier. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start, make sure you can see, with a triangle going upwards and then down, and then it's going to come in like a diamond. Basically that's what you're going to draw. Okay, and then you're going to do exactly the same. So just do like a diamond. Okay, and then on the next one that you're going to draw, you're going to just do it the opposite way. So my triangle's going to come into a point, and then I'll do my diamond. So the diamond sort of starts on the next row. Okay, and then it's going to play out that way. And then I'm going to do another triangle this time that's going to create into a diamond. Okay, and then it's going to work its way down into another diamond. Okay, so you basically have two diamonds on one side, then just one diamond in the middle, and then two diamonds. Okay, and we need to actually colour this all in. Okay, so I'm going to just start by, I might use my other juicy pen. Okay, so I've done that one, and now I'm going to do this one. Just up to where the border is, and then come down. So you're just filling in all of those diamond shapes. Okay, like that. And that's, we'll do some shading on that with our pencil. And we can come in and actually do that now if I kind of show you. So, depending on where you start with your shading. So if I started with this one, for example, if I was going to shade that one, then I wouldn't put any pencil here or here. The next place for pencil would be actually on that little space there. So you're kind of shading in the opposite spaces. Okay, so then I'll shade over here. And then I'll be shading in that one. And then that one. Like that. And down in that one. Shouldn't have shaded in that one. That was, it is what it is. I've done it now. And in that one. So just so you get the idea. Okay. And that really kind of helps it sort of pop out. So if you kind of turn around now, you'll see that it's sort of really popping out in its 3D shapeness. So that's our Beeline. And then on this side, I think I'm going to just do some flukes, and I'm going to do my flukes on that kind of wavy line. Kind of prefer the just keep going. Maybe one about there. And then I'll kind of work it out and kind of, and I'm turning the towel. So kind of have it going like that. Like that. That's it. Got my rhythm now. Okay, so I've kind of done a grid that's on a diagonal. So when I turn my tile, I've got like diamonds in front of me. So just like we did last week, I'm going to put these flukes in. So let's just look, because you can do them in a different, we can do them in a different direction if you like. So the different direction than what we did last week anyway, just to kind of mix it up a bit. So if I actually start with this pen, I'm going to go this way this time. So I'm going to start here and come down. And I've just picked a big square so that you can see how I'm doing it. And I'm leaving more space. So I'm not doing it very close together. And that last one, I can colour in. Okay. And I'm just going to carry on and do that in all of these boxes. Lots of colouring in today, actually, isn't it? And then just relax. Just concentrating on that mark that you're making right now. And just remember, when you come and you bump up against the line, just stop, because we never draw over the top. So you're just going to imagine where those lines would go. Okay. Just keep that going until you've filled all those boxes up. Okay. And then in the last one, I'm just going to do some Hollibaugh, I think, actually, just to break it up a little bit. So I'm going to just start with 2 lines, and I'm going to aura those lines. And this does create a grid really in its own right. So aura all my lines. And just remember that when you meet another line, you're going to stop and go underneath. So we never go over the top of a tangle that we've already done. Okay. Kind of think that's, yeah, it feels right. Okay. So I'm going to do some shading. So I'm going to actually firm up the line that goes along where my little Trimond are. And remember, it doesn't go the full way because we've, I'm just going to kind of do it to there. And then I can obviously come along here and firm up this one. And then I'm just going to start that one there. And then come along like so. Okay. And then I'm going to get my pencil. Oops, daisy. See where I can put my hand to get some light here properly. Oh, there. Okay, just so I can get better lighting. So on my Hollibaugh, I'm just going to shade along these larger rows, I kind of call them. So I'll do that one and also do that one. Bring in my bottom on and just kind of blend that And shading in Zentangle is really giving it a 3D effect. So you're not trying to portray light and dark, you're just really trying to make it pop off the page and look more 3D. Maybe a little bit of, so by adding some shade on this side, it's kind of making that look more 3D. And I can actually come in and just blend out where I've put my pencil down on these little blocks, just to soften it really. Okay, so it just kind of softens that a little bit. And then on this one, I'm going to just shade on each of the tops of those triangles and just leave that one side really pops off the page when you start shading in the tops of these. Going along and just shading the top of my Trimond. Okay. And then I'm going to just come in, and I've already created my grid pattern, so there is some graphite down there already, but I really want to just accentuate really where my grid was, and that will kind of start to define and make my flukes start to pop off the page, hopefully by giving them a little bit more depth, by breaking that sort of up a little bit more and blending out that graphite. Okay, so that kind of will then start to look more 3D. So I'm going to do the same in the opposite direction, just putting some additional graphite down. Okay. I'm just following the line of my grid. And hopefully that's kind of giving it more of a, it sort of looks like it's all sort of piled up on top of each other, rather than just being sort of flat. Okay. And I'm kind of happy with the white space that I've got on my Trimond here, so I'm not going to do anything with that, because I think I've said that before, don't be afraid of the white space. And I think depending on how you look at that, the triangles either look like they're popping up this way, or that then the sort of these ones are kind of popping out, so kind of it creates a an optical illusion in a way, I think. So by leaving them white, I think I'm actually making, you know, pulling the eye into sort of different places, which I like. So I'm kind of, yeah, happy with just maybe a little bit of depth in that. Yeah, that's better, just pulling that out a little bit more, I think. Okay. So I want you just to check your tile, have a look, and just make sure that there's no more sort of shading or anything that you feel that you may not have coloured in, or that you want to colour in or add. So just take a little look. And then I'm going to find a spot to initial. So I think I'm going to just come around and on one of my little Trimond corners, so maybe this one here. And can maybe just, actually that one, I think I'll just put a little PB in here to initial it. Okay. So I've just added a little. So, and now I'm going to just hold it at arm's length and turn it around, because in Zentangle there isn't an up and down. So you can look at it in all directions. So it's amazing whenever you turn it around how different the Beeline looks in every direction. It's totally different. Your eye gets pulled this way and that way with that one. That's a really cool one, actually, how that works. Okay, so if you're happy with that, I'm going to just turn it over and I'll write my name. And it's my Zentangle session. Today's date is the 15th, yeah, 15th of April. And then I'm going to just write what we've done today. So we've done Flukes and Trimond, and it's Beeline, and we did Hollibaugh. I think that's, yeah. And then turn it over, and I'd just like you just to sit for a minute, just looking at this little piece of artwork that you've created today. So just really appreciate that this is your own little piece of art. Okay.